Cup champion Darren McCarty, the golden voice of Neil Rule, and the iconic Terry Foster. Sit back and relax. It's time for your daily dose of Big D energy.
Here we go again. Drop that hammer and let's bring that pontoon out. Big D energy here on a Thirsty Thursday. Woodward Sports Network. Darren McCarty joined by media legend in Detroit, Mr. Terry Foster. T-Foss, how are you today?
Doing well, a little gray today, but I think I'll make it.
Well, I'm so happy to have you in for a plethora of reasons, but joined as always by Flannel Sam in the TD. Ones and twos ran by our one and only Spencer Raxter, but big news right off the rip, Spenny, and it's not basketball.
It's not.
What is it? Give it to the people, because they should be proud.
They should be proud. Aiden Hutchinson has been named the Pepsi Defensive Rookie of the Year. It's not the big one, but it's still a good honor. He won it over Sauce, obviously, so congrats to Hutch on taking that home, and hopefully that means he gets a lifetime Pepsi deal.
Now, do they give Hutch this award so we don't bitch about when he doesn't win the real award?
Probably.
Is this to make it happen? How do you guys feel about this? Sam Flannel, you're a legend. Does this mean something? Does this mean, hey, wait, he's got a legit chance of winning Rookie of the Year? Or is this like an appeasement, like Terry said?
It's an appeasement.
I mean, it makes me feel good that Aiden Hutchinson's great play this year, the great rookie season that he had, is being acknowledged. I mean, when it comes to the stats and the impact plays, Aiden Hutchinson had 9.5 sacks and 3 interceptions. Sauce Gardner's impact is more just shutting down half the field. As I've kind of done my digging the last couple weeks, I have determined that I could not deny Sauce Gardner the big award because he was literally an all-pro level, first-team all-pro corner, which means he was the best corner in the league. But it's nice to see Aiden Hutchinson get some acknowledgement. He had a great rookie season. Good for him. Very excited.
You know, Sauce Gardner will probably win the real Rookie of the Year. He's had a fantastic season. But in the National Football League, if you ask anybody, would you rather have the best defensive rush end in the league or the best corner, they would tell you we'd rather have the best rush end because it's more impactful on more plays during the game.
Yeah, I think it's one of these things when you see different awards, I correlate it back. Who voted for it, right? Who voted for it, because you see different awards being handed out different votes. In the NHL, right, the one that you want to win is the NHLPA award voted on by your peers, right? Who votes the best player in the league by his peers? That usually steps in. This doesn't seem like one, but again, it goes to show what you said, is those stats that Aiden Hutchinson put up as a rookie at that position were just as good in some people's mind of what Sauce Gardner did. But I think we all agree here. I mean, do you look at it like, hey, way to go, Aiden, because on the whole 33,000 foot from the NFL level, you're being seen? And then Lions are being seen differently, maybe, Terry?
Here's what we need to investigate. Who decides Pepsi Rookie of the Year? Pepsi?
It's fan voted.
It's fan vote.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, but there you go. So that leads to tell you that he's being seen.
It's being seen, but to me, this one doesn't count.
I get it, Terry. To me, it doesn't count. It counts a little bit, and don't get it twisted. As a player, you'll take whatever accolades you can get, but in the big scheme of things, right?
Yeah, but the problem is with a fan vote, you'll get about 25% of the people will sit down, look at stats, and look at film and say, this should be Defensive Rookie of the Year. The other 75% is who they like. Does he play for my team?
Absolutely.
So I like that. So to me, even though this is nice, it's
more of
whatever.
A popularity vote.
Right.
It's more of the social media and popular, but still, I mean, I guess winning's winning. Speaking about that, Terry, I'm so glad we got you here because I got to pivot because while we slept or into the wee hours of the night, as we know, the NBA trade deadline is today at 3 p.m. And we talked about it last week with the Brooklyn Nets moving Kyrie Irving to Dallas, to two-headed monster with Luka Doncic. Well, the Brooklyn Nets and local, as you said earlier, local guy Matt Ishba, Sparty, who owns the Phoenix Suns, made a blockbuster deal in the middle of the night for again, what we consider one of the unicorns, one of the top individual talented basketball players in the league, in Kevin Durant. So, Sam Flynn, if you have that trade, Kevin Durant going to Phoenix.
Yes, the Brooklyn Nets will receive Mikal Bridges, Cameron Johnson, Jay Crowder, 4 unprotected first-round picks, and a 2028 pick swap. And the Phoenix Suns will receive Kevin Durant, which was obviously the big get from this trade, one of the best players in the NBA, and T.J. Warren. So that means that the Phoenix Suns did not have to give up Devin Booker, Chris Paul, or DeAndre Ayton. So that alone, that's a big deal. This makes the Phoenix Suns instant title favorites.
Well, absolutely. And doesn't it make some of the younger guys or guys what have you been playing for it? Even with Chris Paul, who's sort of the aging veteran. Terry, what was your first thought when this came about?
My first thought was that Phoenix is no longer, I'm not going to call them a joke, but they're no longer just the team that has a nice regular season and then the playoffs just kick their ass. They are a legit title contender. I don't put Denver, who has the best record in the West, because they always fade in the playoffs. And Golden State, who should be number 1A or 1B for winning a title, is not having that great of a season. Steph Curry's been injured. It's been a bunch of injuries, and maybe they'll pick it up during the playoffs. But to me, when you look out west, I think Phoenix is the most dangerous team to make the NBA Finals from the West.
No, and I see Brandon Katz, obviously a big part of the show, good and bad. But he said, in the NBA, do you believe in this? Because I think it's truer than not. Might not be 99%, but in the NBA, when you get the best player, no matter what the deal is, usually, that's where it pays off. Because does anybody think that this won't work in Phoenix? Now, I see in the chat thread also about Phoenix still needs Chris Paul, to be healthy. They still need Devin Booker to play. But do you guys, Svenmo, do you legitimately think that this puts Phoenix right up there with who? The Golden States, like legitimate West Division or even NBA champions?
Yeah, I think it does. I mean, the Western Conference playoffs are going to be insane. You're looking at, you have, I'd say, 4 legitimate title contenders in the West, with Phoenix, with Denver, what Dallas is going to do now with Luka and Kyrie, and then you have Memphis, who's been playing really well. So all of those teams, and then out of the East, it's really just Boston and Milwaukee. But I think, this pushes Phoenix to the top of that chart. They've got to be the favorites for the title now. It's an impressive roster. It's going to be an impressive team. They still got to keep a 3-and-D guy, a wing defender, and Torrey Craig. So I'm excited to watch this basketball because it's going to be. They're going to score a lot of points. It's going to be fun to watch.
It's exciting, but here I think the Dallas experiment will eventually fail.
Yeah,
it may not fail this year because I think Kyrie has really got to show. I'm a good camper. I'm not what all those bad New York media people said I was. So he wants to get paid one more time. So they are NBA champion threats this year, but not next year, not the year after, not the one after that. Because I think eventually his cancer will permeate throughout the organization. Luka Doncic's love for the game will diminish. Mark Cuban will get pissed. He's a very emotional guy. But I will say this, if Kyrie Irving can't work in Dallas, he can't work anywhere. Because Mark Cuban's going to do everything he can to make it comfortable for him. Whatever he wants, he's going to give it to him. He's going to take all the excuses away for Kyrie to be bitching about something. He's not going to have anything to bitch about, except maybe his play.
That brings it, Terry, that brings up a great point, right? When we were talking about, you got 2 of the best, arguably the best, that were supposed to have this experiment of coming together in Brooklyn, and then boom, within the year it implodes and goes. And I think that I'm along the same lines as you, is waiting to see, does this Dallas thing work? It probably something where it works early, works into this season, right? But the future of it, we don't know. Because you think that, who's going to handle the ball with him and Luka? Now, when I look at this Kevin Durant to Phoenix and 3 years left on his contract and stuff, it seems to me that they can embrace Kevin Durant and all his eccentricities and all this stuff like this, just like I guess Golden State. I see this more of a move of adding Kevin Durant by Phoenix, like when he went to Golden State, as he's the best player. We know that, but he also has to. He doesn't. I don't know. Does it make sense to say that I don't think that he wants to be the guy, but if he has guys around him,
yeah, that's
makes
exactly
it more
right.
successful.
Kevin Durant is not.
Wait, let me rephrase that. He wants to be the guy, right? He
No, I
that,
don't
like,
think- no,
but
no,
he doesn't want to have to run the show. That's why Chris Paul, to me, will work. A Devin Booker, a younger guy, all you basketballists talk about. It just seems that this fit to the team in Phoenix, where you said, if Dallas don't work for Kyrie, nothing will work. This Kevin Durant, to me, feels like it's going to work a lot earlier and like a better place.
And have longer
longevity.
Now, I don't think Kevin Durant wants to be the best player, but I don't think he wants to be the alpha dog. Like, this is my team.
Amen.
This is what we're going to do. I'm going to lead you guys to the championship. Listen to what I say. No, he just wants to play ball, be the best guy. And what it does, we're all going to worry about Chris Paul's age. But, this takes a lot of pressure off of Chris Paul, because Kevin Garnett, he can, not Garnett, I always call him Kevin Garnett when I get all excited, but Durant, he can bring the ball up. He can facilitate an offense. So Chris Paul doesn't have to worry about doing that for 48 minutes.
Another question that I had that was brought up, because does this not, and for a non-NBA guy like me, right, to watch a Brooklyn Nets team and a Phoenix team, like Brooklyn just acquired 7 first-round picks. And now, I agree, I'm looking in the chat thread, and a lot of people are saying, unless you're a top 15 pick in the draft, really the first-round pick, is this show more prevalence that a first-rounder, unless he's at the top of the draft, in the top 10, really is nothing? It's just like sort of an add-on.
Yeah, it's after you get out of the lottery in the NBA, it's really hard to find a legitimate, impactful talent. If you do, then you just got lucky at some point when you're talking about star or superstar level players. So with these back-end picks, you never know, like later down the road, they're going to pay off, because Phoenix isn't going to have Chris Paul. They probably won't have Kevin Durant after some of these picks start going in, so the team will get better. But it allows the Nets to be active in when they are ready to move, when they're ready to pull the trigger on a guy. Like if they draft somebody, turns out to be a star. Cam Johnson keeps rising. He's had 3 40-point games in a row. If he continues to play that well and they think they can make a move, they could package all those picks and go get someone like what Oklahoma City and Utah are building right now with their wealth of picks.
Right, because everybody all excited. Oh, they get all these lottery picks. I don't care about lottery picks. About a third of those picks better be top 5 if they're going to elevate themselves back into NBA contenders. But the dangerous thing with teams that play in New York, and I think this is a New York thing, we got to get some names because we're in New York. We got to be on the back page. So what's going to happen is New Jersey is in a sweet spot now, but they will screw it up again. They'll bring in the next Kyrie Irving, bring him in, and then that Kyrie Irving's going to bring his boys in. They'll screw it up again. Instead of just building a team full of young guys that maybe we don't know who they are yet, they'll bring in other names. And this would be a disaster again in New Jersey. Or not New Jersey, but Brooklyn.
Yeah. Do you like, so Terry, am I hearing this correctly? Like, do you like this trade that Phoenix made? Do you think that this is like showing that
right?
They're not the same old Phoenix Suns that are just going to show up?
You know what this reminds me to a higher degree? It reminds me a little bit of when the Pistons got Rasheed Wallace.
Okay.
The Pistons were a very good team without Rasheed, but they were not a championship team. Probably would have lost to the Indiana Pacers again. But then they got Rasheed. So Phoenix, now, very good team without Durant. Very good. Excellent team. But now they can start thinking championship now.
No, I like it. And a couple things, too. If you were watching the Morning Wood Show, Juicy Jeff Iafrady had reported that Troy Weaver had been on the phones trying to see if there's a way to lock it down. When we come back from break, Terry, I want to ask you, because here's the first thing that I thought with Kyrie and Kevin Durant moving from Brooklyn going to the Western Conference. What does this mean for our Detroit Pistons? And I'm going to flat out ask you, do you expect them to do anything before the 3 p.m.
You know what? I heard
deadline?
Troy Weaver was on the phone, too, for like 2 seconds before they hung up the phone on him.
Okay.
Because he doesn't have anything
We're
going to
get clarification on that. T. Foss would know when we come back. But first, let me tell you about Alta, because Alta Uptime Matters. Alta Equipment has everything that you need to get the job done. You got a bog project coming up, Alta Rent, they got you covered. Give them a call today, 844-GO-TO-ALTA. That's 844-GO-TO-ALTA.
Woodward Sports loves sports, and we also love to party. Join us for the big super party. Wait, we can't say super. We really can't say come join us at our super party on Sunday, February 12th, from the only place that can handle a Woodward Sports super party. Well, our super party will be at Flight Club on Michigan Avenue in Inkster. Join us for a live pregame show and watch party with the crew. Enjoy a halftime buffet, DJs, the Woodward Sports family, and more entertainment. You don't want to miss the big game with Woodward Sports. Get there early. This event will reach capacity. Come celebrate the Lions season. Enjoy the final game of the year in style. See you Super Sunday at Flight Club. At least the party will be uncensored.
And the Eagles are so much better than the Eagles.
At work and at home, we're there with smarter security solutions. Featuring complete automation with customized alerts and more. For over 90 years, we've been the company that's been counted on to protect what matters most, all with personalized service and care. Right now, for a limited time, receive a free video device plus free installation with a new home system. Guardian Alarm. We protect Michigan.
Welcome back, Big D Energy here on a Thursday. Darren McCarty, Terry Foster in for Neil Rule, Flannel Sam, Spenmo Rax. We were talking right out of the chute about Kevin Durant being traded to Phoenix for a bunch of players, a bunch of first rounders, stuff like this. And one of the things that I guess we all came to the conclusion that Phoenix not being the same old Phoenix, but trying to make a step up to get to the promised land. Terry had mentioned, just reminded him of when the Pistons added Rasheed Wallace. They were a good team before, but now they were a championship contending team. But I want to turn this back around, Terry, to the home team, to the Pistons and stuff like this, because 3 p.m. deadline, you'd expect, you mentioned before the break that Troy Weaver got a call, but it was only for 2 seconds. So I take that as you don't think that as much as Weaver's trying to do something, or if he is trying to do something, that he's got nobody on the other end of the phone to talk to?
Right. I mean, the only players, maybe teams want, if you're trading for Kevin Garnett, would be Cade Cunningham and Jaden Ivey. And I mean both of them, and some first-round picks. I'm sure the phone call went like this. Hey, how you doing, New Jersey? This is Troy Weaver. I hear you're trying to trade Kevin Garnett.
But isn't that to the point? Not trading Garnett specifically. I don't think Durant. I think you misunderstood me. I don't mean that because in the NBA, isn't it when you have money to spend, like you're talking in draft, and I'm going to trade and I'm going to put this guy on my books, or you can take him off the books? Isn't that what Troy Weaver would be calling, saying, hey, I can give you this guy, I'll take this money here? The Pistons in more of that situation, just to try to make some small moves right now. I guess the elephant in the room is, the question is, do they move Bojanovic before 3 p.m. today? Do you expect them to? Because, Terry, I thought the conversation we had before the show about if they don't might be something that the people, that might be worth the risk. Right. The risk versus the reward.
I mean, here's the thing people need to understand. You don't need to sell every time your team stinks. I think what the Pistons are saying, or what they will ultimately do, they're going to keep Bojanovic, and they're going to say, you know what, we think we're good enough to contend for the playoffs next year with him. So we're going to hold pat. May not be the smartest move for now, but we're going to keep all our pieces in place, not going to give up anybody, and then next year is going to be the year. I think that's fool's gold. That's not going to work out. I just think the Pistons are further away from being a playoff team than we think they are.
So are they further away if they keep Bogdanovich, or are they further away if they deal Bogdanovich?
Both.
See,
Because
that's the problem.
I think they're thinking, if we keep him, we're going to make the playoffs next year or come pretty damn close. I just think this collection of players, and I like a lot of the players on this team. I like the collection of players, but they don't play well together. They don't play in NBA. They don't play defense anymore anyway. But the Pistons really don't play defense. They're not cohesive.
But isn't that the NBA?
No, it's the NBA. Okay, here, let me try this one more time. Here, I'm going to put my acting on. They don't play defense in the NBA. Pause. But the Pistons really don't play defense in the NBA. You get it now? Come on now.
I did. No. Yeah, absolutely.
I just
like,
wasted
they really don't. Now, here's the scenario, though, because you brought something up, right? So if maybe there's one thing that they do think to what you're saying. If we don't trade Bogdanovich, we get Cade back healthy. We weren't healthy all year round, da-da-da-da-da. But can we agree, right, that we're going to be in the conversation for that first overall pick, right? Not have the greatest percentage to get it, but we are in the conversation.
And that's the other thing.
So what?
Why do anything now when supposedly you're getting this great player? Oh, you have a shot at Wembanyama.
Right. So, like, what if in Troy, and I asked this to the chat thread, to the people, what if Troy Weaver's thought process is, hey, what is it if we gamble, stay pat, right, play the way it out, if the defense ain't getting any better, I don't see an enormous amount of wins, you're going to be in that conversation, and wait and see if you get lucky to get the first overall pick, because then if you believe that you're already a playoff team next year without the first overall pick, and you're bringing all the rest of these guys that have seen him play think he's the next thing, but you're not so sure of that.
I've never seen the dude play. I hear how great he is, and all these people tell me, oh, he does this. But I've seen highlights of him. But I think the NBA has been burned so much by foreign players that you don't see play, and yeah, this guy, he can dribble between his legs and he can dunk. All right, good. And he can hit a jumper now and then. But I don't know if he's soft. I don't know what he's like in the flow of the game. There's so many factors that go into determining a player besides looking at highlights. I mean, you need to see him play for a few games. And it seems like the NBA has done that. But the NBA has missed on guys over in France. They missed on guys who we were told they can play, and they
you
couldn't.
mentioned earlier, like we were told we can all go back to Darko.
Yeah,
you know,
we were told
you brought up a name that some people won't understand, but Ralph Sampson,
right?
Who he was the next back in the day. We were told.
Look, let me just Ralph Sampson. I saw him play in college, and I kept hearing, "Oh, look at his footwork. Look how good he is." I thought Ralph Sampson was just another guy. Happened to be 7'4".
So Terry, let me just flat out ask you: you got a little less than 4 hours to the trade deadline. You're Troy Weaver. Are you trying to do something, or are you staying pat, or what is the best move for this team?
You always try to do something because, I mean, you can get some fool on the phone at a weak moment and you can fleece him. But unless you get that, I think they should gamble and not do anything. See if they get Wembanyama. See if this team can become more cohesive with a healthy Cade Cunningham and be a playoff contender. I personally don't think that's going to happen, but if you think it's going to happen, that I would not sell this year. With the fact that at some point this team should become a team. It's not a team now.
I think to your point that if they, let's say they don't do anything and they wait and they do the see, does it put them in any worse position? Spenny, what would you do?
I'd kick the tires. I think the team needs a lot of defense. It needs some guys out there. I don't think Saddiq Bey and Bojan Bogdanovic can exist on the same roster because they're pretty much the same player. They shoot threes and don't play any defense. And I've heard new reports that the Pistons are trying to get a deal done with the Knicks for Bogdanovic, and they want R.J. Barrett to be included in that deal, who you guys remember he was at Duke with Zion and that whole team, and he's a solid player. He's not nearly what was expected of him when he got drafted in the league, because it went, Zion, Ja Morant, R.J. Barrett, and he didn't live up to that hype. But he's a long guy. He's a good defender. He can knock down some shots when asked to, not consistently, but still, that is a piece I wouldn't mind adding to this team.
Is this whole roster supposed to be between 6'5" and 6'8"?
Yeah.
That's what it seems like.
Right, which goes down to you could be sitting in the draft with your draft position to the best player staring you in the face just fits straight into that category.
Right.
Sam, where are you at? But are you guys working? Because I don't see the tension like I see when we talk about the trade deadline with the Red Wings and the trade deadline, with making major decisions and stuff like this.
Right,
we still have time,
the
right?
Pistons have fallen into a dangerous situation. Nobody cares. Very few Pistons people care what the Pistons do.
Is that a fair statement, Sam?
That's definitely a fair statement right now, because the Pistons are absolutely irrelevant in the NBA and have been for quite a while now. The Bojan thing for me, I've kind of gone back and forth. I love and respect the hell out of what he's brought to this team offensively this year, probably having his best offensive season, 42% from the three, but that also means that a team might be willing to overpay or over kind of trade for a Bojan Bogdanovic. And if that were the case, I would be perfectly fine dealing him, because he has had such a great offensive season. But at the same time, with your whole point of standing pat, I think we have to realize how much further along and how much better this team would look both offensively and defensively if there was a healthy Cade Cunningham. I fully expected him to be an all-star this year, and I don't think I was crazy for believing that. And he's played 12 games, and he's out for the rest of the season. So they're going to look worse than what you expected automatically. So there might be something to the whole hold on to Bojan. He's a veteran presence. He's a marksman shooter. Get a good draft pick. Run it back with Cade next year. But if Bojan gets a good trade return, I would absolutely deal him.
Baby boy, here's the big question. If this entire roster comes back intact for next season, Cade Cunningham is healthy, everybody's healthy, is this a playoff team?
Probably not, depending on the draft pick. If they were to get Victor Wembanyama and he's everything that we hope that he can be, then I would say yes. Even like a Scoot Henderson or Brandon Miller, you'd think maybe they have a shot. I would probably still say no, but you would see progress, I believe.
So if the answer is no, I think the gamble is worth it. Don't trade Bogdanovic. See what you can do. See if you can become a playoff team. But if you definitely think they're not going to make the playoffs, you may as well make the move, get somebody young, get some draft picks if you can, and just keep being a 17-year-old, a U17 basketball team.
You guys make it sound like, and it doesn't. You're not going to put yourself in a worse position if you don't do anything. Wait and see, and even if you don't get the first, the second, third, or fourth pick of it, because you can still make the same decisions, sort of moving forward. Like Spencer said, you got the same guy, like you said, you got a lot of the same players on this team, right? So some decisions have to be made, which ones you're going to move forward with and which one you're not.
But maybe, I'll admit, maybe I'm a little unfair to the Pistons, because you expected Cade Cunningham to play this year. He's not playing. And the offense runs through him, the whole team runs through him, and he's not there. So obviously they would be better with him, but I still don't think that's a playoff team with Cade Cunningham. The way that they play and the way they're constructed.
So then that's obviously it comes down to, and Troy Weaver, do you trust? So that comes in. So last thing I'll say on this is yes or no. Do you expect them to do anything before the 3 p.m. deadline?
I do not.
Spenny?
Probably not, no.
But they will try.
Okay.
I can't believe I'm saying this because a week ago I would have said absolutely, but no. I expect Bojan Bogdanovic is still a Piston by the end of the trade deadline.
Well, you heard it there, right from Flannel Sand, the legend killer, so it must be true. But we'll wait and see. Anyways, a lot to it. And I see our counsel, Robert Colosi, talk about getting certain guys that are cancers out of the locker room. That's a big thing. And
it's huge.
It's a huge thing, and it's the same, goes back around to why Terry said that Dallas won't be able to absorb Kyrie, but we think Phoenix will be able to absorb Kyrie. When we come back, I want to touch on, obviously, Super Bowl this week, but we had a few Lions out there, and our boy, and we hope he's our boy and gets re-signed, Jamaal Williams had some really, really cool things to say. We're going to touch on that. But first, make sure that if you need a haircut, and you're going to get one like D-Mac, you come to Lady Jane's not only for an award-winning haircut experience, but to register for once in a lifetime opportunity to win the down payment for your dream home. How does $200,000, $200K, yeah, I said it, sound? What do you need to do? You get to Lady Jane's, you register, open 7 days a week, walk in anytime. It's wicked awesome.
Love Woodward Sports? Love wearing clothes? Then you should be wearing Woodward Sports clothes. Check out our full line of merch at woodwardsports.com. Just click on Shop. We have all your favorite designs, like Dan Campbell kneecaps, Beverly Hills Golf, Woodward Golf, and of course, our own logoed out merchandise. Men, women, infants, kids all love Woodward Sports. Impress your friends. Impress your boss. Impress your dog. Buy Woodward Sports merch today.
I'm Dr. Jason Olafson, DC, the founder of the Custom Health Centers, and we've helped thousands of people learn how easy it is to lose weight and keep it off with our customized weight loss and body contouring programs.
With Custom Health, you don't feel hungry, you eat well. My name is Simeon Timbuk, and I've lost 71 pounds on the program.
Call us at 844-789-THIN or visit CustomHealthCenters.com for a free consultation and get started for as little as $5 a day.
Can't get enough Woodward Sports content? Head over to woodwardsports.com right now for up-to-date sports articles and great entertainment news. We have the best writers, bloggers, and coverage all at your fingertips. Head to woodwardsports.com right now to experience all Woodward Sports has to offer.
Downtown Detroit is all decked out this winter season with the return of the Cadillac Lodge and the Monroe Street Midway. The Midway has a giant slide, winter bumper cars, and an indoor arcade, plus you can grab drinks at the lodge before or after home games for the Red Wings or the Pistons. Shop, eat, and play downtown with Decked Out Detroit, or you can check them out at deckedoutdetroit.com.
Big D Energy Thursday, Darren McCarty, Terry Foster, Flannel, Sam, Spanmo, Rax, hitting it up, just talking about the blockbuster Kevin Durant trade that went down overnight, heading to Phoenix. Obviously, Brooklyn unloading, getting younger. That's good. Those two high talented guys are in the East.
The Brooklyn trade does one more thing for the Pistons.
Oh, do tell.
It eliminates one more team in the East that they can't touch.
Right, which is the conversation that we had here a couple weeks ago about when will the Pistons be better, and Terry said, well, 5 or 6 years, because you got to wait for the Milwaukees and the Bostons.
Even Miami.
And to that point,
Philadelphia.
That those are just the sort of the blue collar teams. You still have teams like the Chicagos that are getting better, that are better than you right now. So again, you put Brooklyn, take them a little bit longer, so now they've gone under, in your opinion, Detroit.
You know, they have. Like, you had these elite teams, you had to wait for them to get old before you could compete. Brooklyn, in essence, just got old. Kyrie turned 40. Kevin Durant turned 40. In other words, they're out the way. They're gone. They're in the West, so you don't have to worry about them. So that's one fewer team that they have to work, that elite team that they can't touch now. Now, there's other teams better than the Pistons. Obviously, the Bulls are better than the Pistons. Charlotte's better than the Pistons. But they can at least touch them. They can at least sometimes beat them. If they get health and stuff, they can perhaps finish ahead of them in the standings next year. Perhaps.
Here's the one thing, Terry, I think you brought up, and I see it, and I think Goodfellas said it, and whatever, the point of what he said is the fact that, have you ever seen Kyrie, if you're watching now, and it's at the beginning, and you mentioned about Dallas going to do everything to make him happy, but he looks happy. If you see him where he's enjoying himself, and he sounds like he's enjoying himself, and he's not going off like we know Kyrie can, that's huge. That is huge. If you can do that with them. Now, how long do we always say how long that won't last? But if they can make it last, you have a happy guy.
He's going to be happy for the next 3 months. He's going to be rocking around. Hey, I'm Kyrie Irving. Happy to be in Dallas. Now, he'll be happy in the summer. He'll be happy during training camp. Now, will he be happy by Thanksgiving next year? That's the key there.
Okay, so when we talk about Kyrie, right, it's the short term. Where does the wick that was lit pop the dynamite? In retrospect, with Kevin Durant, you expect him to be happy.
I expect him to be a pro.
He's going to be a pro, right?
Yeah, because he's not around
like
Kyrie
when you
Irving.
think about it, isn't this with what he's been through, where he's been, the fact that he already has his championship, the fact that we say what you want, he should have stayed in Golden State and wanted to go out. That means that he knows what he doesn't want or what he doesn't need. And to the point, I think the biggest thing is if we see where he doesn't want to be the alpha. Like he wants to be the alpha, but he wants to go through somebody else. Is that fair?
Yeah, he wants to be the alpha from this standpoint. I'm the best player on this team, but he doesn't want to be the alpha of like, I'm carrying this team, I'm leading this team, listen to me. He wants someone else to have that. That's why Chris Paul is there. Chris Paul is going to be the alpha even though he won't be that on the court. Another philosophy, and this is just me, but in the NBA, you need a veteran on the team, even if he doesn't play, because there's a lot of immature players in this league. There's a lot of guys who don't know how to be professional, and what they need sometimes on the airplane ride or sometimes in the locker room, sometimes over lunch or over team dinners, they need that veteran to say, you're screwing up, you're not being professional, we need you to do this. Now, they won't listen to the coach all the time. If the GM tries to tell them that, they might smack him in the face.
But no, their agent. The GM tries to tell them, then they got to deal with their agent.
Agent just wants to get them to get paid.
No, but what I'm saying
Right.
is that if the GM, the player, if you're high enough, will say, why are you talking to me? Talk to my agent.
Right.
You're right in the fact that the accountability is in the locker room, and you need that mentorship, that big brothership of telling you, especially, too. I know in the NHL, Terry, but the NBA, look at, we're talking about our team, one of the youngest teams in the Pistons. They're still, some of these guys are playing, they can't even drink. You know what to say, the Red Wings and Pistons guys, which we forget how young they are.
I will tell you two guys who were critical for the Pistons winning championships. And when I say the name, Spencer is going to call me a fool. And Philando might throw something at me. I'm going to give you two names, Darryl Walker and David Greenwood. Because Isaiah Thomas didn't know what was happening, but Darryl Walker, who was a tough guy, settled him down. Told him, you can't just be scoring all the time. We need you to make the team better through assists, through passing, and you need to be professional. And David Greenwood did the same thing later. He kind of mentored the big men on the Bad Boy Pistons, but he couldn't play a lick at that point of his career. But he was essential in settling the team down.
Terry, you don't even understand that is so important. I guess then that gets me thinking is to look back, does Chris Paul and Kevin Durant, do they have a relationship through international play or anything out, right? Because you need it no matter how and if that top guy has that guy, you know who that guy was in our locker room, right? Where you think to Sergey, well, you do know. Who was that guy to Sergey Fedorov? And it wasn't Igor Larionov, and it wasn't Slava Fetisov. The sixth Russian.
Okay.
Doug Brown.
Okay.
Doug Brown, you saw it. How many times you see that?
That's right. He was
right
a
beside
success.
each other. That was big brother, but sort of nurture through. So it doesn't always have to be your top guys, but there is an ebb and flow. To that, it'll be interesting where we expect, obviously, going to Phoenix, Durant relationship where you have Chris Paul being that alpha guy, and you also have Devin Booker, a guy that you can pass things down to, help hone out, help get better. It'll be interesting, Spenny, and I hold you and Flannel and to it. Do you see this, what Terry's talking about in Dallas? And then also, too, what's it going to be here? Forget all the rest of the teams. We're in Detroit. But at the end of the day, who's going to develop, or do we have that guy here now?
We don't have that guy.
We don't have that guy here now. So another thing as far as it goes to tell you where your team's at, right? I look at the Red Wings. What did they start doing? Steve Yzerman started putting those guys in place this year. The Perrons, the Sherratts, right? The guys like their importance more so in the locker room.
Yeah.
Right? You look at a guy that right now is living it, and he just got through waivers and playing in the minors, but is one of those role guys that you need in an Adam Ermanni. And these are guys that are locker room guys that you see more. Terry, you've been around. Let me ask you this question while we're on the subject. You've been around both NHL and NBA locker rooms for championships in this city. Where would you say that this mentorship is more important? In which locker room? Would it be in the 12-man locker room in the Pistons, or is it more important in a...
I think it's more important in the NBA locker room.
Okay.
Because you got kids trying to act like adults. You got kids who are more unhinged in the NBA than you do the NHL. The NHL, you guys come in, you're from some town of 500 people. You're just happy to be here.
We follow in line. Right? Like when a guy comes in, there's a pecking order, and you can see it from day one, no matter who it is. Is that correct?
That is correct. If you tell an NHL player to dunk his head in the Detroit River, he'll do it.
Right.
The NBA player would tell you go to hell. So I think that influence is more important, and it's important in both, but probably more important in the NBA locker room.
I love it
because they're more high profile. I think they have more people reaching for them.
They make more money.
Buddies, they make more money. Yeah,
don't think that's not a big thing either. When you come into an NBA and you're a young kid at this, and you get all this money, so it's direction and it's about who you surround yourself with, and stuff like that. I see good fella D-Mac. I'm sick of the Wings this season. Yeah, bro. I'm a little bit sick of them too, so turn them off. You don't need to watch them. It ain't this year.
It is pretty crazy when you think about like Larkin being the captain of the team. He'll probably get an 8-year, $69 million deal. And then you look at a guy in the NBA getting a 5-year, $250 million supermax. Like, that is just such an obscene amount of money. It's crazy.
Apples and oranges, bro. Yeah. Apples and oranges. All right, I think that was a good talk. But we're gonna talk. We got to get into the lines. Like I said, I mentioned before. I loved. If you didn't hear what Jamaal Williams said yesterday at the Pro Bowl, or not Pro Bowl, at the Super Bowl, I thought it was good. But first, you know what? It's raining outside, but you can still get the sun, can't you, Spenny?
Yes.
Where are you going this afternoon?
I will tell you.
He's so pasty. Get in there. It's about time you do this, Reed.
And the only way that you can get tan right now, if you're in Metro Detroit, is to go to Chili Peppers Tanning, of course, because Chili Peppers Tanning is where you'll find the cleanest salons in the D, with spotless, sanitized rooms and trained and certified tanning professionals. Join the Pepper Club for all the best deals. They'll beat all competitors by $5. Don't forget to pick up Australian Gold, Designer Skin, Caltan, and Swedish Beauty Lotion. 27 locations and more coming. ChiliPeppers.tanning.com. The hottest bulbs, the hottest deals, the darkest tans, your vitamin D headquarters. It's Chili Peppers Tanning.
Chili Peppers Tan.
3 NBA championships. Detroit fans were there. 11 Stanley Cups. Detroit fans were there. 4 World Series wins. Detroit fans were there. And that one Lions playoff win in 1991. Yeah, Detroit fans were there. Woodward Sports, where the fans are.
Introducing the Planet Fitness Guide to getting that post-workout glow. Step 1, what's your why? More epic energy, better sleep, blow off steam? Step 2, join Planet Fitness for just $10 a month and get moving in our clean and spacious clubs. Step 3, bask in that post-workout glow. Join Planet Fitness today for just $10 a month.
Join today at any of the 50-plus Detroit area locations.
Get a shot up. This is for the win. All of Detroit's sports teams live on Woodward. All of Detroit's sports coverage lives on Woodward Sports. Driving the best in Detroit sports coverage.
Cintron World is an aspirational life beverage brand with a line of sparkling flavored energy beverages and premium bottled water. Cintron is the official energy drink of the Red Wings, proud partners of the Detroit Pistons, and exclusively served at the Little Caesars Arena. Buy online at drinkcintron.com. Cintron is also available on Amazon. You can follow on socials at Cintron World to join the Cintron lifestyle for hockey games to concerts and also charity events. Drink it, live it, with Cintron.
Big D Energy here on a Thursday. Darren McCarty, Terry Foster, Spenmo Rax, and Flannel Sam here with you. We were just talking about Kevin Durant trade from Brooklyn, the East thinning out, 3 o'clock deadline. We'll wait and see. But not the worst thing. We've come to the conclusion if the Pistons don't do anything, it really doesn't put them too far back from where they are right now.
Because they're about as back as you can get.
That's
now.
what I'm saying, Terry. So back it up. Exactly. There we go. Super Bowl week. Obviously, this weekend this week. Everything going down in Arizona. One of the coolest times of the year to see different guys sort of out of their element. A lot of talk going on, but even though it's the Philadelphia Eagles, Kansas City Chiefs in the Super Bowl, there's a lot of talk going on, and one of the things yesterday, if you didn't catch it, was our guy, our running back, Jamaal Williams, who is not yet re-signed, correct, gentlemen?
Correct.
But he did an interview yesterday. Who was the interview with, Spenny?
Stephen A. Smith.
With Stephen A. Smith, and he come out and said, it don't matter, we take in the North as the Lions. So in talking like that, not under contact, my first question is, are you pretty confident with the way Jamaal Williams was talking yesterday that he will be re-signed, that we will have him back this year, or is there something?
There's a glitch.
There's a glitch there. That's why we have Terry Foster, and he is a media legend in this town.
Here's what this does mean. Jamaal Williams wants to return to the Lions. If he doesn't, it's going to be because the Lions said no to Jamaal Williams. It won't be because he said no to the Detroit Lions. The Lions still have to decide how much do we want to pay him. And I know people are going to say, well, it sounds like he's going to give him the hometown discount. No, he won't. There's no such thing. I shouldn't say there's no such thing, but the hometown discount thing is really, really overrated. Here's what could happen, though. Jamaal Williams could say, hey, look, Phoenix is offering me this, and you're offering me this. Can we do something here? So he might say, come on, let's work this out because I want to stay here. Now, that's going to put the ball in the Lions' court where they can still say no. No, we're only going to pay you $5 million a year. We're not going a dime above it. I know Arizona's offering you $7.5 million. We're not going to go there. So the talk for Jamaal Williams at the Super Bowl is putting the ball in the Lions' lap. So the Lions are now in a position where they're going to have to say no to him because of cap and ramifications.
If they don't want him.
Right. Well, it's not that they don't want him. Right. They don't want him for a certain price.
Right. They can't afford it because it goes back. There's a couple things here, Terry. Right? We hear a lot of times, and it's different strokes for different folks because this is who Jamaal Williams is. And somebody might be saying, well, why are you an athlete? Why are you tipping your hand? No, because exactly so you know, and a player like Jamaal Williams, who we know being in this town, what he meant on the field, but also off the field, behind the scenes, the hard knocks, the interviews and stuff like that. He's just laying it out there. Now, it comes back around to Brad Holmes, and does he fit the Brad Holmes? Brad Holmes being said by here Terry Foster, the greatest GM in Lions history, right? These are the tough decisions, right? So the favorite players that when your teams get better, and we're having the same thing with the Red Wings right now, if we change subjects, we change names about contract discussions, but does it come down to the guy that you trust in Brad Holmes? Now, as we sit here today, is Brad Holmes still the greatest GM in Lions history?
Absolutely, rootin' tootin'.
Absolutely rootin' tootin'. Even to, right, where I wanted to bring up this fact that they did you guys, we might have ran through it, you might have did it, but they did the redraft, how they always do the redraft and where guys would be chosen. Well, it just so happened that at number 2 and number 12, right, the guys that were redrafted were the same guys Brad Holmes chose. Aiden Hutchinson at 2, right? The guys that were the same were Hutchinson at 2, Thibodeau to the Giants, and then even though Minnesota had the 12th pick, they would have took Jameson Williams, which tells me, evaluator of talent in the draft, we have one of the best guys. But also, too, leads into, do you trust him like you do in the draft in free agency, in signing? We know that he's good at re-signing his own guys, right? As he did last year, the conversations of what we had. I guess my question is right here, Terry, because the conversation we had before is Jameson Williams be like between 4 and 4.5, right? Did we say for 2 years? No, we said a 2-year deal at around $8.5, $9 million when we talked about it, right? Do you believe that Jamaal Williams will be part of this team moving forward and the contract will get out? Or do you believe that because the NFL, no guaranteed contracts, that the reality of the Arizona coming in with such a bigger deal is out there?
Jamaal Williams will be a Detroit Lion next year. His heart is here. He excelled here. And I think the Lions will look and evaluate him and say, you know what? He fits. He fits his locker room. We like his passion. So you have those things all weighing in. Now, the clunker is if somebody just shows up and says, we're going to offer Jamaal Williams way more money than he's worth. The Lions will have to say no. We'll throw him this poison pill. Then he'll have to leave. Unless somebody throws in a poison pill, which is possible, he will be here. Both sides want each other. Now, I'm going to make another prediction. If Jamaal Williams signs somewhere else, Brad Holmes is going to get ripped by the fans. But what's going to happen, he'll probably rush for 400 yards and 5 touchdowns wherever he goes. If he signs with the Lions, not saying he's going to get 17 T's again, but he'll probably get 15 touchdowns, rush for 1,100 yards, and be a productive member. Because, in other words, Brad Holmes is going to determine if he's got another year or 2 left in him as a running back. He's already evaluated that. And running backs are just so disposable. You know, you're great one year, the next year you stink.
Well, isn't that the reality of it, Terry? That this is where I wanted that. Like, Jamaal Williams is as great of a season and touchdowns, and he is one of the more replaceable guys on this team, is he not?
He is.
Now the biggest thing and the thing that where I look to is how much he means in the community, on the team, in the locker room, because that goes, who would replace that? But if you're going through your lineup about guys that you can't afford to lose or guys that are expendable, is Jamaal Williams not on your expendable list?
Jamaal Williams is the Lions hype guy. He carries the message of Dan Campbell. He's passionate about what he does. He's a tough guy. He's a nice guy, but you don't want to mess with him.
But and he's the guys like this where we mentioned, right? Where we mentioned about in the last segment about in the basketball teams or in the hockey teams, the veteran guy that shows the way to do it. Jamaal Williams' motor shows guys how to compete and practice in one of these things. Well, I mentioned this for example. it's easy for a younger guy when you look and you see guys that are successful, and if it's a fellow running back or in a hockey locker room and I see a Steve Yzerman and a Nick Lidstrom and a Brendan Shanahan and they're all doing all this extra work, well, it's easy to follow along, right? He sets sort of a tone.
Right. Now, I want everybody who's listening to us right now to close your eyes and think of the future. If the Detroit Lions make this work, and I'm talking about going to a Super Bowl, how are they going to do it? Are they going to do it because they're a fancy pants team that's throwing the ball all over the place and Jared Goff is passing for 5,000 yards? Or are they going to win it because they're tougher than the other team, they're running the football better than the other team, and they're harassing the hell out of the opponent's quarterback? I think it's the second one.
The Eagles route more than the Chiefs
route.
route.
There'll be more Eagles than Kansas City Chiefs.
Yes.
If this is going to work. If this is work, we're going to be sitting back here and saying, man, we're not going to say, man, that team sure is pretty. No, we're going to be saying, man, those are some tough SOBs.
No,
I don't want to mess with them.
I'm going
so
through
Jamaal Williams is very important because that's what he is.
Right, so then that takes more of a precedence when you're doing intangibles into why things that you might not seen. Gromit 0237, what do you think? See, I don't agree with this. Is that the Lions will find a way to outsmart themselves? Isn't that pass line behavior? I don't think that this is just regime behavior.
It is, but Darren, there's a 10% chance that could happen because another team could just give the Lions and Jamaal Williams like a poison pill contract. One where he's so giddy, he feels he has to sign it. And the others where the Lions are like, okay, if we sign him to this, we can't do this on defense. So we're going to have to skim back on other things.
But I don't feel this regime, no matter what, because of the decisions the tough they made. And maybe it's not relevant, but to me, making tough decisions on coaches that you've hired yourself and your offensive coordinator 1 year and then the defensive backs coach, to me that's showed me that you're willing to make the tough decisions. And to your point, you said 10%, right?
10%.
No. You said 10%.
Yes.
Holy, you didn't say 90%.
I know, that's what I was going to say.
Dude, what was the past? That's what I tell the people. You said 10%. Because in the past, what would it have been if this was Bob Quinn or Matt Millen?
Maybe 85%.
And you're not. Dude, we're laughing, and it's a joke, but it's not that far of a joke, guys.
Right, but let's look at Kenny Galladay. Kenny Galladay from 1957 to 2015 would have been resigned for a ridiculous contract, and he would fail here. Brad Holmes said, look, I'm not paying you this. Good luck. I hope you find a good team, and I wish you the best.
Because I'm going to go draft a guy that's going to make as much money as you in the month of September. Amon-Ra, St. Brown, and we'll pay him later on. Which is why, Terry, when I preface that when Terry Foster said this is the best GM in the Lions history. Now, I guess if people go, well, that's not really accomplishing anything, but it is. Because things like that, the coaching decisions that have been made along the way, the not re-signing of contracts, the draft. Now, I agree, drafting Brad Holmes is elite. Free agent Brad Holmes, I still am, the grade is not in yet. Right, the grade is not in because this is the time when he's going to sort of do something. Just like if you want to do something, he's got to work on the defense. You can work on your defense. How? Guardian Alarm. You know it. You love it. Let Guardian Alarm's customized solutions from real experts, professional technicians take the time to recommend security and automation solutions specific to your needs. But I need you to call them today. 1-800.
Stay out.
24/7 professional monitoring. You can call anytime, day or night. Know that a Guardian team member will stay on the phone as long as it's needed. But I need you to call the number 1-800.
Stay out.
Technology backed by people. Safety, security, service technology that's been proven to work, and people have been proven to care about what you care about, whether it's business or it's personal. Like our boy Sam Flannel there. How many straight days of flannel protection?
210.
210 straight days of flannel
that's
protection.
impressive.
They will protect whatever you deem that valuable, but I need you to give them a call today. 1-800.
Stay out of the offensive
Stay
backfield
out.
this Sunday, Hassan Reddick. Give Patrick Mahomes time to
That's
throw.
not going to happen. See you, Patrick Mahomes. Guardian Alarm, your local security experts. Tell them Big D Energy we sent you.
Woodward Sports loves sports, and we also love to party. Join us for the big super party. Wait, we can't say super. We really can't say come join us at our super party on Sunday, February 12th, from the only place that can handle a Woodward Sports super party. Well, our super party will be at Flight Club on Michigan Avenue in Inkster. Join us for a live pregame show and watch party with the crew. Enjoy a halftime buffet, DJs, the Woodward Sports family, and more entertainment. You don't want to miss the big game with Woodward Sports. Get there early. This event will reach capacity. Come celebrate the Lions season and enjoy the final game of the year in style. See you Super Sunday at Flight Club. At least the party will be uncensored.
And the Eagles are so much better than the Eagles.
The sports marketing agency would not be who we are without great community partners like Higuera Health and Carol Zuniga.
It's an awesome opportunity to partner with your organization. Higuera Health is a comprehensive behavioral health organization. We serve children through older adults with mental health, substance use, and developmental disabilities across Western Wayne counties, and really excited to now be in downriver communities as well. Give us a call at 734-458-4601.
Wintertime in Detroit is always better with comfort foods from Big Boy. You can try their classic meatloaf or Cajun chicken Alfredo. What about breakfast? The stuffed potato pancakes are back. You can get the Lumberjack, Santa Fe Garden, or Blockbuster. So make sure you stop in your local Big Boy today and satisfy those taste buds. And now, let me tell you about the Monroe Street Midway, because the Midway has swapped out roller skating, basketball, a mini golf, and for a giant Arctic slide, winter bumper cars, an indoor arcade, and puck putt. With free entry to the site, you can enjoy a variety of new activities aimed at creating an exceptional winter experience for everyone. Get to the Midway after the holiday season to enjoy tasty treats while making magical memories during the winter months. Warm up with tasty treats including burgers, pierogies, homemade chili, chicken sandwiches, mac and cheese bites, plus gluten-free and vegan goodies, so everyone has something to eat. You can check it all out on deckedoutdetroit.com, and we'll see you at the Midway.
Welcome back, Big D Energy, D-Mac, T-Fa, Spenmo, Rax, Flannel Sam. Just talking through the greatness of Brad Holmes. And yes, Bob's a big boy. We know Galladay was the free agent, but the fact that Holmes didn't even go near him, that we know that everybody knew what he is, the evaluator of talent, and you don't have a lot of that stuff on your plate. Obviously, Super Bowl week, talking about the Kevin Durant trade, getting into it. I'm going to go a little off topic here. We'll get back into the Super Bowl, because I thought it would be apropos to have a very good discussion here about Michigan without Neil, so that you can't determine anything else, because I saw this and it had to do with Michigan branding, and I think it had to do specifically with the Michigan alum and offensive lineman Taylor Lewan from the Tennessee Titans, who does the Bussin' with the Boys podcast. If you've never seen it, check it out. It's good stuff. It's great. They stole my idea from a bunch of years ago, but it's all about Sharon's Karen. But Spenny, will you bring the people up to speed, because this is a former Michigan guy, and I wonder, and I wanted to ask Terry, is there more fire behind this smoke, or has this always been the way it is? So fill the people in.
Listen, I was just at Media Row, NFL stuff. Will said one battle ends, one begins type shit. I get it. And am I a little frustrated with the University of Michigan? I'd be lying if I said I wasn't.
Ain't Nebraska.
Nebraska does want to do a licensing deal with Bussin' with the Boys. They want to put us in their stores. And it's amazing to see Nebraska buying into the culture of Bussin' with the Boys and what we're trying to do for that program. We're also trying to help out the program of the University of Michigan. Now, they don't need as much help as Nebraska. Obviously, we're back-to-back playoff visitors. We're going to make the next step this year. I believe we're going to win the national championship. It's going to be incredible. But it hurts when your alma mater gives you a C and D on the T-shirts you're wearing. I don't believe it's this hat. I don't think you can C and D a yellow and blue hat. Not maize. This is just yellow, which you can buy at the merch store right now. But it's... Fuck, man. This shit just breaks my heart. You know? We put ourselves out there. We love these guys. We like to think they love us back, but it just seems like a hassle sometimes. And I don't think it's hardball. Look at this guy. I don't think it's hardball. I think it's the people at the University of Michigan, not the football side. And hopefully we can work something out. Because, boys, I'll be honest, I'm hurt right now. I'm hurt, and I wish there was something we could just do. Hopefully better news is to come. I love you guys.
Yeah, I mean, hey, you can like Taylor Lewan, you can not. I mean, he says some stuff sometimes you might not agree with, but I 100% have the feels on that. Now, without getting behind it, but the bottom line is like a conversation to whatever, as a former athlete that has played for a team or an organization. It's not about schematics, but a C and D is a cease and desist, right? Which gets into the legalities. Here's my point. And Sam, I'll go to you as the resident Wolverine to talk about it. Why, like, if he goes to social media or goes to his Twitter for that means that there's no communication, that nobody reached out to explain to him, right, wrong, or indifferent, you know, to say that he doesn't have a name, and it's just sort of like, what have you done for me lately? I guess it's the reality, and sometimes as a former athlete, you think maybe you mean more to your program than you do, then it's just the end of the day or the dollar, right? The fact that the thing is, I wanted everybody to know in watching that is that's as genuine as it gets. And that's a guy who's hurt by putting everything, it's something like that too. And I don't think anybody out there watching this right now, they can relate to that, whether it's work, whether it's home, and it's appreciation. It ain't about the dollar. It ain't about this. It's about bringing everybody more together. And to the fact, like, where I don't even see it, it says the boys, and like I said, yellow, like, even this, like, why are you picking this conversation? But nobody from Michigan, where he has to say, I don't believe it's hard. Nobody's contacted him. You would at least think, like, and I'll let you a little bit behind the curtain, Red Wings organization, right, is that there's enough respect there that if there's something that I shouldn't be doing or something that needs to be to my attention, I get a phone call by different people or a conversation, which I respect, because there's nothing that I wouldn't do for that brand. And I just think that it was brought up, whether you like Taylor or whatever else. I think this is a bigger thing. Now, am I wrong and just say, well, this is the rules and this would be? But I understand. I wanted to bring the compassion that everybody has felt, the unappreciation. That's all it is.
Yeah, I can see both sides of this. I think Taylor Lewan feels hurt. I'm a Michigan man. I'm in the Michigan family. I can sell whatever I want. If it's blue, I'm promoting my brand. I'm promoting the Block M, which I love. But on the other hand, you can't just sell something that might be perceived as Michigan stuff.
Terry,
you just can't sell that.
Terry, I 100% agree with you. But where's the conversation? I'm not saying that like, does somebody from Michigan not call, like, did the Detroit News not call you on an article, something that you wrote, or if you're going to write something?
But Taylor Lewan should have been smart enough to call Michigan first.
Okay.
Just to be sure. But, I mean, for instance, go out and buy a T-shirt today with a bird on it. You know how much it's going to cost you? Probably $8. Now, buy that same T-shirt with Tweety Bird on it. It's going to cost you $15. You know why? Because Disney's got their hands in it. So you just can't sell NHL stuff. You just can't sell NCAA stuff. You just can't sell Michigan stuff. Even though it doesn't come from them, there's copyrights and it's perception that this is from the Michigan brand. So he should have called Michigan before he did that. But he's probably thinking, I don't have to do this because I'm family.
No, and I think that's where the business comes over to, and I sort of agree to exactly. I don't think Like legalities are legalities. So you're saying that he's butthurt, but he should have called first,
Right.
Like he did Nebraska. It sounds like they're doing something with Nebraska and something's worked out.
Yeah,
and here's the butthurt too, right? That's not even his team, and to promote or whatever, but you expect your team to get on board.
Yeah, because that's Will Compton is his co-host, who's an NFL guy. He went to Nebraska.
Okay.
So they
so there's some butthurt, like,
and he's probably thinking Nebraska can't love their player more than Michigan loves me.
Mm-hmm.
So is this Is this the reality check for Taylor? We just watched the reality check of what you really mean.
He grew up in the business world.
Grew up in the
Should have
business
gone
world.
to the Ross Business School.
Okay.
Yeah.
Sam.
I'm looking at it from two different perspectives. One, the Michigan perspective. Michigan is in one of their best 2-year stretches in program history, has very high expectations for next season. They're good for the most part, at least for the sort of the here and now. And Nebraska's had 6 consecutive losing seasons. Any help that they can get, even if it's from Bussin' with the Boys, they need it. But from Taylor Lewan's perspective, there have been 4 Michigan players who have been first-round draft picks since 2005. Braylon Edwards was one. Jake Long in 2008, he was the number 1 pick. Taylor Lewan in 2014 was the number 11 pick, and Cesar Ruiz was a first-round draft pick in 2020. And Taylor Lewan has had a pretty damn good career. From 2016 to 2018, he was a 3-time Pro Bowler. He's had some injury issues as of late, but he was definitely on that sort of gold jacket trajectory. Taylor Lewan should be sort of a shining jewel of the Michigan program. He is one of the best Michigan alums currently playing in the NFL. And for him, I just kind of think he feels disrespected. You brought up a great point, Terry, that like Nebraska's like Will Compton, who the hell is he? I'm Taylor Lewan. I'm an actual Pro Bowler. I didn't just make a name off of Bussin' with the Boys. I was a damn good player before that. So I can kind of see both perspectives. I don't blame Taylor Lewan at all for being a little bit butthurt.
Yeah, it's sort of like we can't manufacture a hat now and put Super Bowl on it. We got to put the stupid big game.
Can you say that?
Huh?
Can you even say that?
We can say Super Bowl.
Oh, we can. Okay.
Not in marketing ploys, but when you're talking about
we can't sell something, or we can't have a ad that says Super Bowl unless it's a.
Now my question, right? Because here's where it comes down to it. Right, to understand, like in the conversation, everything you guys are saying as far as business-wise, and I'm reading through the chat that there was more to it. There was other things that look more Michigan M and stuff like this. But does Michigan, is it because do they treat everybody the same? Right? Right? Like is Tom Brady, is Charles Woodson, or is it different strokes for different folks? And I think in that, and I don't know. That's why I'm asking.
It's as simple as this. Michigan wants to get paid.
Right, and if they're going to get something else, so that then it's irrelevant who's performing it, because again, it comes from sort of the top.
And there's one other thing too. Don't have some BS stuff out there that people will think is from Michigan and it's subpar, and it's not. So yes, about the money, but don't be flooding the market with some crap on there that says "Go Boys" or "Go Blue" or something that people think came from the University of Michigan.
Here's the lesson in this all. If you're a person, right, that asks for forgiveness instead of permission, these are the situations that you'll put yourself in. To Terry Foster's point, maybe if you don't know, it's better off to ask than to put yourself in that position. It's just the consistency. I think it's unfortunate. I feel for him as far as on a personal aspect. Speaking of Michigan, there's a former first-rounder in Braylon Edwards.
You know what? Braylon Edwards there, and I'm pissed about something that happened to this man over here.
Oh, you are?
Yes.
Well, let's get to it after the break, because let me just tell everybody about Custom Health Centers first, because you know what? Let's bring the breathing down, and if people want to get behind their weight loss, customize their approach to weight loss, just like our boy Ryan Ermanni. 16 pounds he's down, but he said he's going to the Super Bowl party this week and doesn't know which. So that's what it's all for. So if you think all the ways that weight affects your health, mentally, emotionally, spiritually, physically, Custom Health Centers has over 20,000 success stories. Professional athletes, former kicker Eddie Murray, former Piston bad boy Rick Mohorn. They've all gone to Custom Health Centers, along with our boy Ryan Ermanni. You could see Everything happened. If you want to get a hold of Dr. Jason, he will customize a health plan for you. But I need you to call the number 844-789-8446. Give Dr. Jason a call today, 844-789-8446. Custom Health. Do you. Do the work. Get it done today. Custom Health Centers. Tell them Big D Energy, we sent you.
Buddy.
Woodward Sports loves sports, and we also love to party. Join us for the big super party. Wait, we can't say super. We really can't say. Come join us at our super party on Sunday, February 12th, from the only place that can handle a Woodward Sports super party. Well, our super party will be at Flight Club on Michigan Avenue in Inkster. Join us for a live pregame show and watch party with the crew. Enjoy a halftime buffet, DJs, the Woodward Sports family, and more entertainment. You don't want to miss the big game with Woodward Sports. Get there early. This event will reach capacity. Come celebrate the Lions season. Enjoy the final game of the year in style. See you Super Sunday at Flight Club. At least the party will be uncensored.
And the Eagles are so much better than the Eagles.
You don't have to go to the beach, man. You don't have to get your butt crack full of sand. You just need a little chili peppers, man, to get that glowing beach chili peppers tan. Woo!
With 26 locations in the Metro Detroit area and more coming, Chili Peppers Tanning is where you'll find the cleanest salons in the D. Join the Pepper Club for the best deals on unlimited tanning. Head to chilipepperstanning.com.
You just need a little chili peppers, man.
Matrix Home Solutions is your go-to for any home project. Looking for a new man cave? They are the basement remodel experts. They also specialize in bathrooms and kitchens, an A+ rating by the Better Business Bureau. Call 888-594-8844 or go to matrixhomesolutions.com.
Flying by here on a Thursday, T. Foss, Mac, Flannel Sam, Sven Moa, Rax. We were just talking about some Michigan branding. We showed you the Taylor Lewan sort of getting a C&D, a cease and desist for the boys.
I got to go off for a minute.
Yeah.
Forgive me.
And we have to do, I'm going to let Terry go off because of the disrespect shown towards our boy, Braylon Edwards, since we're on Michigan.
That's right. The young man just walked, the poor little kid just walked into the studio. But the Free Press had an article. Every position in Michigan football history, the top players. Now, I read this thing. It was very interesting. Went to the 2 wide receivers. How in the hell is Braylon Edwards not on that list?
Oh, hell no.
Now, they had some dude, Crazy Legs Hirsch, who played in 18
Didn't wear face mask.
That's when they were playing the School of the Deaf.
No way he was better than Braylon. And then the other one was Anthony Carter, which I understand because he had the big catch against Indiana and he played for the Michigan Panthers and he's a great wide receiver. But I'll still put Braylon right up there with Anthony Carter.
Well, I think that, when Braylon, came in to say hello and stuff like this, there's one of the things where you have to understand on a national level, right? Where it took him at a national level, like he said, where he puts, I guess,
he's considered one of the top wide receivers in the Big Ten. He's still number one,
whatever. He brought up a great point, too, though. All these lists, as we get older and stuff like this, it's just opinion, and we know what we did and stats or whatever. But his dad, Stan, my mom, Roberta, those aren't the ones that you want reading those articles.
Oh yeah, don't give it to Stan. Stan Edwards will go off on somebody.
But at the end of it, Terry, isn't that the whole thing about what somebody
opinion,
else?
But be smart.
I get it. But isn't it usually? You tell me when you're writing stuff like that. Isn't it a bit agenda driven, to some point? Right? Isn't somebody's agenda?
Whenever I have to do
what would the
something,
agenda be of putting a guy from the '50s in there and not putting Braylon, other than saying, well, I can't. He did this or he did that.
Oh yeah, we can't compare eras and all that kind of stuff. That's the excuse, because the dude play. I mean, and that was at a time in. College football where you didn't even pass the ball. So, but I saw this man single-handedly beat Michigan State.
All right.
If it wasn't for him, Michigan State would have one more victory over Michigan. So he did it all by himself. But I think what happens is people want to give credit or credence to a wide receiver in the 1950s being just as good as the guy that played in the 1990s or the 2000s.
Why, Terry? I brought this up yesterday because it's the same thing, right? When we talk about, I look at the same thing as like the 1950s and the same thing about the grass is greener, and why are you not going to pay your own guys the money, whereas you'll give somebody else that has played somewhere else or you've seen at a distance, or why does that have more value in society? Why does a guy that I've never seen play in the 50s that has this sort of stats mean something more to somebody than a guy that they watch every day now?
I think you have people who have their certain beliefs that don't jive with me, and for whatever they want to say that a guy in the 30s, could be just as good as a guy that played in the 1990s or 2020.
There's no way in
and it's
hell
ridiculous.
A dude named Crazy Legs is better than Braylon Edwards. I'm sorry.
Your Crazy Legs probably ran a 5.140.
Yes.
But aren't we coming? Are we not getting to the point where they able to take tape now or whatever and superimpose it to see what it would be like?
One other thing they did, they put an offensive lineman on it. University of Michigan offensive lineman. Way back in the day, this dude weighed 180 pounds. He couldn't even get on. He couldn't be the ball boy today.
Hell no.
Do you think he would have played in the Georgia game?
Not a chance.
You think he would have played against TCU? Hell no.
What do you think the best way, and I know it's a little sidetracked, but it's perfect. We got a few more minutes to this segment. What do you think, if you were going to compare eras, is it fair to go 20 year spots, 30 years? Like, what is the reality because of, and here's where things change, right? I'll just go to my sport, right? Where I could compare, and I always thought, I came in 93, and through the 90s or whatever, I thought I played maybe 20 years too late. I thought I should have been playing late 70s. Now I get to the end of my career and I go, okay, I realize I played at the right time, right? But I think that like late 70s, like 80 through 2000, right? Like hockey-wise, it has some comparability, even though there is some change. What do you think it's the same time frame, like 20, 30 years in each sport, or each sport changes? You bring up a great point, Terry. 180-pound offensive lineman, because it was reality back then.
Right.
But the reality is how you couldn't compete to the game now. So I guess maybe tell me, has anybody ever thought of it? What is the fairest way to compare guys?
First of all, look at your eye. Use the eyeball test. Look at what they did on the field, obviously, and maybe you should only do it in 20 to 30 year increments. Like, for instance, I think NHL teams in the 80s could compete with NHL teams today. I think teams in the 80s in the NBA could compete and beat teams today. So I think you have to be smart. You know, what's the how are they being treated? How are their how big are they? What's the technology and all that? So you got to throw that in, and it's a big difference from today than 80 years ago.
Isn't the huge difference, and we see it throughout all the sports, is not only just the rule changes and the way that it's called, but it's sort like, isn't that a big part of what's been accepted and what hasn't been accepted? Some of these guys, you know, football, for example, because it's Super Bowl. A guy like a Deacon Jones, you used a slap to the side of the head that has been illegal. Would he have been revered as such a top defender? Now, I'm all about use what rules you're allowed to, but again, doesn't that muddy the waters a little bit?
Yeah, that does. For instance, you know, we are getting to this big fight because LeBron James is the all-time leading scorer in the NBA. Who's better, him or Michael Jordan? And people get this one thing twisted. Well, LeBron James can walk. So could Michael Jordan.
Yeah.
He was allowed to walk. He was allowed.
He pushed off
LeBron James.
iconic shot.
The difference
LeBron
is the dog.
James gets calls and bitches about it.
The difference in
Michael Jordan got calls and bitched about it. He may not have jumped up and down like a baby like LeBron, but he would complain about it in the media, and he would get that call the next time. So, but yeah, things change. For instance, today you can't hand check. Back then, you could guide a guy where you want him to be, and then he had to work from the left of the key where he feels more comfortable from the right, because you could guide him over there before you had to take your hands off of him. So yeah, rule changes change things. Trent Dilfer is a doofus who said the other day that today's modern quarterbacks have it easy compared to quarterbacks from 30 or 40 years ago, which is totally ridiculous. Yes, there's been rule changes. Yes, wide receivers can't be touched like they did before. Yes, you can't blast the quarterback. Yes, you cannot put your hands on the quarterback. But today's quarterback is under way more harassment from these 6'8", 340-pound defensive linemen who can run 4.5 40s. Dude, if back then if you were a defensive lineman and you ran a 5.1 40, man, they would just say, put the gold jacket on him now, because you can't touch it. This is a freak of nature.
Speed in sports is unbelievable all throughout. Same thing on the ice, same thing, watching the size of these guys. We used to always say, thank God the linebackers can't play football or can't play hockey. Now the defensive tackles are playing hockey. Sam, it's about lunchtime, but I don't want a Swiss and cheese. I want some insurance. What do you got for me?
Yeah, that's Swiss Insurance, of course. Be sure to check with Swiss Insurance this week for your commercial insurance review. Many businesses choose a January 1st effective date. Swiss can help make sure you have the proper coverage. Give Mark a shot. You won't be disappointed. Or email him at mark@swissins.com. That is mark@swissins.com.
Introducing the Planet Fitness Guide to getting that post-workout glow. Step 1. What's your why? More epic energy? Better sleep? Blow off steam? Step 2. Join Planet Fitness for just $10 a month and get moving in our clean and spacious clubs. Step 3. Bask in that post-workout glow. Join Planet Fitness today for just $10 a month.
Join today at any of the 50-plus Detroit area locations.
What's a winter wonderland if you can't shop, eat, and play? Lucky for you, you can do it all at the Downtown Detroit Markets, Cadillac Lodge, and the new winter version of the Monroe Street Midway, all located just across the street from Campus Martius Park. Find the fun at deckedoutdetroit.com.
Woodward Sports content? Head over to woodwardsports.com right now for up-to-date sports articles and great entertainment news. We have the best writers, bloggers, and coverage all at your fingertips. Head to woodwardsports.com right now to experience all Woodward Sports has to offer.
Big D Energy here, Woodward Sports Network, Thursday. Darren McCarty, Terry Foster, Sam Flannel, Sven Mo Rax. Couple housekeeping things. LCA tonight. Detroit Red Wings taking on the Calgary Flames. I have worn number 25 in both jerseys, so I will be down there, Terry, doing game day live. Come and see me outside Portal 10. Love the and talented, newly engaged Daniela Bruce and the vulnerable Art Ragnar.
Oh, I love
the
that
vulnerable
guy.
Art Ragnar.
What city has the better downtown, Calgary or Detroit?
Calgary. Calgary is hopping. Okay. Calgary's a younger version, but Detroit's coming, and there are a couple similarities, especially when it's cold. But Calgary is one of the best younger hip towns, especially sort of in Calgary. I want to talk about LCA, but not about the Red Wings. Spenmo, we got a little bit of buzz as we get close to 2.5 hours left until NBA trade deadline. There's some rumors going out there. Will you fill us in, sir?
Yeah, it's from Jake L. Fisher on Twitter. It's the Warriors and the Pistons are in talks on a trade for Saddiq Bey. So sending Saddiq Bey to the Warriors, I would assume that you're looking at somebody like Moses Moody, James Wiseman, possibly Kuminga to get your return from Saddiq Bey. I think Kuminga would be a little much. I believe it'd be more Moody or Wiseman that you're looking at to get back for Saddiq Bey.
And what is that? What would that mean, Terry, to you?
It would mean to me that they get Wiseman, that they're trying to address the defensive issue.
He's taller than 6'8", isn't he?
Yeah. I think he's 6'10".
Yeah, he's a big guy.
What the Pistons don't need another scorer. They don't need another guard. They need a guy that Piston fans are going to say, why'd they trade for this guy? Because he can protect the rim better than anybody they have right now. And I don't think Wiseman is a great rim protector, but at least he's long and he can help them somewhat. That's what that tells me, that they're focusing on defense. And usually in the NBA, you don't trade someone for defense unless it's a final piece. But once again, this also tells me the Pistons think they're going to be playoff contenders next year. It tells me that they're going to not sell this year. They're going to add a piece, and they think they can make the playoffs next year.
So is it one of these things that you guys like what they're doing? You like this, or you only like this, Sam, if you get Wiseman, a specific player, because of the defensiveness? Is that where it would make sense to you? If it was for the other two guys, you don't understand, or where are you at?
This is a tough one for me because Saddiq Bey obviously throughout most of the year had regressed quite noticeably, but he has been playing better as of late. He's had some of those game like Saddiq Bey hot streak games recently, and he's looked kind of like the player that we all hoped he would be. But is he a guy that you want on this team when they're ready to win moving forward? It's obvious him and Bojan don't really pair well together. If they can get a good return, which they might get because Saddiq Bey has been playing better and he can provide a team wing shooting, I wouldn't hate it. I'm not sort of beholden to Saddiq Bey. And also, like Terry said, defensively, the Detroit Pistons are the worst team in the league. Anything to upgrade, I think, would help the team. I'm kind of cool either way, I would say.
No, so we'll keep it updated. Stay here. Keep checking in WoodwardSports.com. We'll be up to the minute. The boys in the back, Lucas and Spenny, obviously, you can tune in between 2 and 4 and watch.
Yeah, they got NBA Draft Central in the back.
Yeah, no, they love it. They're on top of it. So the bottom line is, like Terry, where you see how making the moves where to you it's more apparent about next year, about what they think about.
Right now, the Pistons are in the 23-25 season rather than the 23-24 season. Or the 20 no, they're in the 22-24 season rather than the 22-23 season. They're looking at this season as 164 games.
Nice math there, T. Foss. Nice math there. Doubled 82 by 2 in case you didn't know. Yeah, exactly. So the boys in the back updating us that Wiseman is the centerpiece who the talks are centered around. So if anything happens, we'll get back to it. I'm going to pivot here because it's Super Bowl season. Super Bowl 50, what? Super Bowl
7, isn't it? 57?
57, Spenny?
Yep.
Super Bowl 57. Now.
Or as they say, 57.
57, Super Bowl 57. Big time of year, Arizona. Questions around the room as we get into it, and I wasn't privy to Super Bowl stories with T. Foss. We will have
those. You missed some good ones.
Yeah, I know. I went back. Absolutely. I wasn't privy to them live. I had to go back on WoodwardSports.com and watch the replay. But we've got a few more for you later on today, but I want to warm up and get into this because it is Super Bowl season. So I want to go around the room and just, briefly, what does the Super Bowl, Terry, mean to you every year? Is it a must-see TV? Is it an event?
It's an event.
It's an event.
When you're actually at the Super Bowl, I always got this feeling. There's all this stuff going on, and there just so happens to be a football game going on at the same time. When you're at the Super Bowl, the football game is not the most important thing. It's the signage, it's the colors, it's naked women running around, it's clowns running around. And they stop the game they stop the game like every 8 minutes. And they go off to all this foolishness, and then they play the football game for a few plays. That's why the game lasts forever. There's no need to stop a game as much as they stop the Super Bowl.
So let me ask you this, Terry, to that point. As a man, how many Super Bowls have you been to?
I think 9 or 10.
And so, and I know you're not attending this year. I know you'll be on your new recliner in the basement at Casa de Foster. But is it one of those things that as you get older, you have a different preference, or once you've seen it, or does it change? Is it one of those things that going 9 times, you saw 9 different, you saw different things each time, and it was exciting?
Yeah, I like events. I always enjoyed going, but my favorite time was the week leading up to the Super Bowl.
Like right now.
Right, like right now. Like I'd be thinking, it's Friday. What party am I going to get into tonight? What devilment am I going to get into tonight?
Where's eggs at?
Right, where's eggs? But so you missed the egg story. But
that's all right. I'm sure there's more.
The Super Bowl,
I'm sure you give eggs part 2.
The Super Bowl has this huge party, and it's 20 years ago it cost $1 million to put it on. I don't know what it is now. It's probably $4 or $5 million to put on today. So because I was able to get my girl eggs into the Super Bowl post-game buffet, I got a little bit cocky. I met Brian Griese when he was the quarterback at Michigan, and we talked a little bit and stuff. So he was at the Super Bowl after he graduated from Michigan and before he was drafted into the NFL. So he wanted to go to the Super Bowl party, but he didn't have a ticket. So I said, I'll get you in. I thought I could sweet talk the lady at the front, because they get my girl eggs into something. They say, okay, we'll hook you up, blah, blah, blah. So I go to this lady. I say, hey, how you doing, blah, blah, blah. So we talk, and I said, look, it's my buddy's here. He's from Michigan. His name is Brian Griese. Can we get him into the Super Bowl party? And she said, no, we can't. And then I said, well, he's going to be drafted into the NFL next year, so he's going to be in the league. And then she said, sweetie, and of course she didn't believe me. She said, sweetie, when your boy gets drafted into the NFL, come see me then. I couldn't get him in.
Damn.
And I had to apologize. I tried.
Eggs has more pull than Brian Griese.
But he did get drafted, so did he eventually make to the party
He made it to the party, but I didn't get him in. But I got eggs in.
Hey, Terry, you bring up it's a great segue to there's so much around the Super Bowl, from the bettings, right? Are you guys Super Bowl squares? People squares guys. I mean, that used to be our big thing, obviously, more so in the locker room is Super Bowl squares. Squares are always remind me, squares, there's Super Bowl and March Madness, right? Which is the 2 things. You also have prop bets, which tomorrow.
Yeah, that's the hot thing. The prop bets.
Prop bets are huge. Which tomorrow Spenny's gonna go through the prop bets and put together probably 10 of the best that we will keep track of every year. The prop bets are always good.
You know what I need at every Super Bowl party that I'm at, and obviously like beer and stuff like that. But I'm a big pigs in a blanket guy.
Pigs in a blanket.
I like
See, it's
pigs in a
finger
blanket.
food fest, right? Finger food fest. Sam, do you have a preferential snack or food that like Super Bowl reminds you of, like Spenny's pigs in a blanket?
I mean, it's usually pizza, not to be kind of cliche, but I'll tell you what, this year
you're anything but cliche, bro. Don't worry about that.
I'm gonna be. This is one of those Super Bowls where I'm gonna be on pins and needles because all I want more than anything is to get my favorite player, Patrick Mahomes, his 2nd Super Bowl MVP. So and then I can come in the next day and talking about how he's on the GOAT trajectory. So I'm gonna be on pins and needles. I probably won't even eat the whole game. My wife is not gonna like me too much because I'm gonna be a basket case. Not every Super Bowl.
We're going to address that a little bit next segment. Terry, what about you? Is there a staple Super Bowl food?
There is. I'm going to abstain this year.
Oh, you are?
I'm going to eat healthy for the Super Bowl.
Wow.
I know that's boring.
Celery?
Yeah, probably celery. I have a doctor's appointment next week. So
what would it have been, Terry?
Huh?
What would it have been?
would have been chicken wings.
Ooh,
Now,
my wheelhouse.
Here's one thing about chicken wings. When you have chicken wings at a Super Bowl party, you have to have wet naps too.
Yes.
Because you're walking around with the chicken the barbecue sauce is gonna get on your fingers and everything. You can't shake anybody's hand, but you knock out the chicken wing and then get the wet nap. So then you say, "Hey, I'm T. Foss. What's going on?" Blah blah blah. So you need wet naps. But my food of choice normally is pizza. Because
specific kind of pizza? Like, is this pepperoni mushroom, or is it like?
Guy.
Is there a plethora? Because have a meat one, pepperoni.
Yeah, for
cheese.
me, I have to have pepperoni and then a bunch of vegetables.
So it's Super Bowl. I guess the question is a Super Bowl game one of the days that you might have the most slices of pizza that you do all year?
I would say so.
Like, if you're a regular 2-3 slice guy, are you like 5-6 because it lasts so long? Because you can go back to it.
Yeah, you know what? You eat unconsciously. You just said, okay, I'm just gonna get a piece of pizza, and you knock it out. You walk around talking to people, and here's the pizza. Let me get a second one, and a third, and a fourth, and a fifth, and a sixth. Gotta get some chicken wings.
I'll tell you what, I said pigs in a blanket, and my dad makes really good guac. So
love guac. See, I'm a big. That's wings, but the dips, nachos, whatever, 7-layer dip. I make a 7-layer dip that I usually throw in there, whatever. But the guac,
that's huge. The 7-layer dip.
That's money. Who's got the SMA read?
I do.
You know what? This is what this man right here. Tell him, give Sam the number, because he might need this on Sunday. We're going to get to it, because when we come back, I want to ask you guys about watching the game. Because of such an event and stuff like this, what are some of the memorable times? Then we're going to get story time with T-Foss. But first, hey, if it's going to be tough, Sam, take this into consideration, because if it doesn't happen the way you want on Sunday.
Yeah, when the Eagles win on Sunday, Sam's definitely going to need to call this number, because we have it for you. It is SMA, or the Sports Marketing Agency. The Sports Marketing Agency helps spread awareness about mental health and substance abuse. Their new podcast, This is the S Word, helps fight the stigma about seeking help. So if you or someone you know is struggling, make sure you head to thesportsma.com and get the help you deserve.
Love Woodward Sports? Love wearing clothes? Then you should be wearing Woodward Sports clothes. Check out our full line of merch at woodwardsports.com. Just click on Shop. We have all your favorite designs, like Dan Campbell kneecaps, Beverly Hills Golf, Woodward Golf, and of course, our own logoed out merchandise. Men, women, infants, kids all love Woodward Sports. Impress your friends. Impress your boss. Impress your dog. Buy Woodward Sports merch today.
By now you know me, Christina Gennari, as the obvious choice in real estate. And you know my website, soldchristina.com, as your #1 resource for buying or selling your home. Myself, along with my amazing staff, pride ourselves on making your home buying and selling experience a relaxing and easy one. Come see why we are the obvious choice. Christina Gennari at soldchristina.com, the obvious choice in real estate.
When it comes to making your haircut truly an experience, there's no better place than Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men. Come to any one of our 26 Metro Detroit locations for an award-winning haircut experience and qualify for a chance to win a down payment for your dream home up to $200,000. Our precision haircut and talented stylists will have you looking good, feeling good, and give you a chance to change your life forever. Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men, open 7 days a week. Walk in anytime. It's wicked awesome.
Cousins Maine Lobster brings the best of the Maine coast to Detroit. Try their variety of sweet, succulent Maine lobster menu items at their 2 food trucks rolling around the city. You can find their events scheduled on cousinsmainelobster.com and through their mobile app, where you can easily earn ahead and earn rewards. Make sure you check out Cousins Maine Lobster.
Heck yeah, Cousins Maine Lobster in Southfield today and in Plymouth later on. So check them out. They are delicious. Big D Energy, D Mac, T Foss, Flannel Sam, Spend Mo Rax coming through. Talking Super Bowl. First question, Terry. Where will you be watching the Super Bowl this year?
I will be in my basement in front of the TV. I got my little sound bar and everything, so it's going to be like I'm at the game.
So fair enough to say a personal experience. You're having a personal home experience. Right. Now, how many 9 Super Bowls you've been to, how many personal home experiences like this one with your new chair and your TV with like the fam.
This will be my first.
It will.
And
wow, see,
the wife is not allowed into the basement. Because she asked too many questions.
How about little Big B?
Little B is going to be at Michigan State.
Okay.
And Celine will be in Chicago.
So this will be a solo effort.
Right.
Solo effort. Spenny.
Come out to the Flight Club, Terry.
Spenny, absolutely. You and the heavyweights will be out there. What
That's
time
right.
does that commence?
I believe we get there at like 4, I think.
And then kickoff.
We're going to do a little pregame show, live watch party. There'll be a buffet at halftime.
Dial it into woodwardsports.com. I do believe that I looked at my schedule. I will be making a appearance there to say hello.
Maybe I should. You know what? Super Bowl Sunday is my birthday.
Is it really?
Yeah.
Wow. Happy birthday.
So maybe I should.
Yeah, what?
Maybe I should.
Hey, you know what? We got to get a car. Hey, you know what? We got to get a car to pick Terry up to bring him to the boys to have some fun. Flannel,
sure.
Are you going to be working that day? Are you?
Flannel can't get out the house because he's been married just a few weeks.
Oh no! That has nothing.
I mean, where are you going to watch? Because you're going to be dialed in. You can't be in an eventful where people are yucking and hollering. Are you going to be like on a toilet with your headphones on and your phone, or what?
I have a very sort of specific routine, and it's going to make me sound like a psychopath, but I'll just let the whole world know. I will be watching the game at the beginning with my wife, just us two in the living room. But if for any reason, I don't care if Philadelphia takes the opening kickoff and gets a field goal to make it 3-0 in the first quarter. If Philadelphia ever takes a lead at any point, I will turn the game off for about a half hour to an hour and then go into the bedroom and sulk. And then check again, and then we'll kind of see what happens. So,
now,
are you serious that I want honestly that if it is going bad for you, like if your team is down, you will walk away because you think that will have effect?
Yes, I 100% believe
that. Hey, I gotta be honest. I got that one in my bag too, bro.
Okay, good.
I have that one in my bag for the Red Wings, whether on TV, whether I'm in the building, to different things. So you're not far off. You are still a psycho, but I mean, you won't go. Will you listen, or you just got to turn it off completely because you feel it's you?
Just temporarily, I'll turn it off, and it's not even so much I think that I have anything to do with it. Although I've been convinced that I have before, but that's another story. I just can't watch. It makes me too nervous. That's more of the thing.
I like it. Are you ever been like that? Too nervous to watch, or when it, because that's, you know what it is? That only happens when you're so invested emotionally, right? Like you are again. Now, Sam, straight out flat question. Don't you think that your J.J. McCarthy Ohio State win Monday was enough for the year for you? Are you going to actually take another lap with Patrick Mahomes when he wins? I know you will.
Oh, absolutely.
So, but what if he doesn't? Are you prepared for that too?
I have to be, because the Eagles are a damn good team. It's kind of a pick-em right now. I think that having Patrick Mahomes on the Chiefs can put them over the top.
Why do you care?
Because Patrick Mahomes is my favorite quarterback, my favorite football player right now, even above all Lions, even above Aiden Hutchinson. Patrick Mahomes is my guy.
Whoa, that's breaking news right there.
That's not even a hot take, but that is, and here's the thing, Sam. Let me ask you this. Is this the most fearful, because I will even go into the last Super Bowl that Kansas City with the offensive line down Mahomes and Mobile. You sort of seen the writing on the wall.
Sure.
With this Philadelphia team, is this not probably the best team that this Kansas City team has faced?
Yes.
At least one of them. So
wouldn't even say probably. I'd say yes.
Reality is. So it should be a great game. But you believe in your guy.
I do.
And I love that.
Yep.
I love that. More importantly, Terry, I see in the chat thread, is it a top shelf bourbon? Like, how do you enjoy, because it's a new experience in your chair and your couch. Like, have you thought ahead about?
I don't do top shelf bourbon for the Super Bowl, but if I'm going to have an adult beverage, probably just be beer.
Really?
Yeah, because Super Bowl, it's a football game.
Okay.
With all the dressing and all this, it's still just a football game. It's not worth the bourbon.
It's not worth the bourbon. Spenny, do you have a special Super Bowl cocktail, or is there something that I don't see you as a champagne guy, but on the Super Bowl, I could see you popping some tops and slamming some champagne.
Oh, I'll drink some champagne. I love a good mimosa, that's for sure. But I'm a tequila guy, so I'll probably just go tequila and some beer.
Okay, but there's not really. It's just a beer, just regular. Like Terry said, it's more of a regular football and stuff like that. We're going to take a final break here, and it's your favorite segment at all. It's my favorite segment. We're going to get Super Bowl stories with T. Foss. Don't know if there's any eggs in this edition, but you'll have to stay tuned. But first, if you wanted to go and get warmed up for this weekend, which I wouldn't put it past Flannel Sam, where are you going to go, Spenny?
Obviously, you got to go to the Fulling Warehouse. Obviously, because the Fulling Warehouse is the home of the original football bowling pin game called Fulling. Multiple different ways you can play. They've got $12 open unlimited play and private lane reservation for $120. If you get thirsty, they got a $2 mystery beer vending machine and multiple fully loaded bars for you to choose from. So make sure you go check them out in Hamtramck or visit them online at fullingwarehouse.com.
Woodward Sports loves sports, and we also love to party. Join us for the big Super Party. Wait, we can't say Super. We really can't say. Come join us at our Super Party on Sunday, February 12th, from the only place that can handle a Woodward Sports Super Party. Well, our Super Party will be at Flight Club on Michigan Avenue in Inkster. Join us for a live pregame show and watch party with the crew. Enjoy a halftime buffet, DJs, the Woodward Sports family, and more entertainment. You don't want to miss the big game with Woodward Sports. Get there early. This event will reach capacity. Come celebrate the Lions season and enjoy the final game of the year in style. See you Super Sunday at Flight Club. At least the party will be uncensored.
And the Eagles are so much better than the Eagles.
It's a great day to get some Centron in your life. Okay. There it is. Centron, here we go. Gotta grab the cranberry. Oh wait, it's 2 for $4. Gotta double up with the classic as well. Centron World, baby. Centron, available at select Kroger's, and if you wanna know how, go to @CentronWorld.com. You can get dope like me. You know what? Why wait? Great taste, guaranteed.
As chilly weather approaches, Big Boy's got the perfect comfort meals for you. Try our hearty classic meatloaf or our creamy Cajun chicken Alfredo. These will be sure to leave you craving for more. How about breakfast? Our stuffed potato pancakes are back with our lumberjack, blockbuster, and Santa Fe Garden. These potato pancakes will definitely fill you up. Whether it's for breakfast, lunch, or dinner, come stock up on the perfect comfort meal today. We'll see you soon at Big Boy.
Planet Fitness is the official studio sponsor of Woodward Sports, also home of the Judgment Free Zone, where you can work out for only $10 a month or upgrade to the Black Card for unlimited guest privileges, hydro massage, and more. Join in club today or go to planetfitness.com. It's Planet Fitness, where Darren McCarty.
Your fitness is essential. Final segment, Big D Energies. Thanks for joining us on Thursday. T. Foss will be in tomorrow. Also, Spenmo Rax, Flannel Sam, the group's all here. Neil is on his travel excursion in the Great White. I think he's Green Bay, Milwaukee.
Yes,
so he will be Chavazling all night long, I'm sure. But we're talking about the Super Bowl here. Quick note, hey, Spenny. Spencer, everybody knows he's a big tequila guy, but I said, have you ever eaten the worm? You've never eaten the worm?
No, I'm
Terry's eaten the worm. We're going to save that worm eating for when the Lions win the Super Bowl.
Okay.
Then we're going to get you to eat the worm. So I know you're handing out tattoos in your thigh and whatever.
Yeah.
I saved your butt. Spenny will eat the worm with Lions Super Bowl, stuff like this. But hey, favorite time. The other day you got to learn about eggs from Terry, but it's T. Foss. Super Bowl stories with Terry Foster. What do you got for us today, bud?
Got for you today. I flew into Phoenix for the Super Bowl when I was there, and I went to get my press credential. As soon as I stepped out, there was some guy. He said, "Is that a press credential for the Super Bowl?" I said, "Yep." So I give you $2,000 for it, and I was like, damn. I needed the credential because I had to cover the game. In fact, so I'm like, oh, shoot. So I have this moral dilemma. So I'm here. I'm a professional. So I told him no. He said $2,500. I'm like, I can't sell you my credential, dude, because I get in all kinds of trouble. And he just kept following me. So I said, I better go to my hotel room, because the next thing is I keep refusing all of his advances. Next thing is they'll just get a bunch of dudes kick my ass to take my credential. But I didn't let that happen. I got away from him, and so boom.
Did you? Now my question is: did the guy go somewhere else? Did you see him in a credentialed area later, or did you?
I did not see. I couldn't even remember what he looked like. Even if I ran into him, I wouldn't know.
Okay. Now sitting here, do you remember what Super Bowl? Would you say that was that 10 years ago, 20 years ago?
It was about 20.
Sitting here now,
So
right? You obviously
now-
made the correct, responsible, professional decision,
right?
But did
Trying to
you
be a
have
pro.
any regrets?
Oh yeah, I regretted it before I even said no. I knew I was gonna say no. I regretted it right off the bat. But I just would have been in too much crap, so it wasn't worth it to me.
No, it wasn't worth it. I think that's called sort of a question. That's one of those scruples questions, isn't it? Like, what would you do? What would you do? Whereas a younger Terry Foster knew had to be responsible and whatever. Well, how about today? If you're going to do it today, would you sell it?
No. Well, if I had to cover the game, no. If I just had a credential and I didn't have to work and I didn't have to go to the locker, yes, I would.
Play him.
Because today I could probably get
Play that
$5,000
man,
for
his
it.
man.
Well, did you guys see what Super Bowl tickets are?
Mm-mm.
Like thousands and thousands of dollars. Like into the five.
Well, that's
five
in the
figures.
secondary market, though.
Okay.
You can.
well,
I had connections here where I was able to get them for face value for the Super Bowl.
still,
40.
what did you say? There was like 600.
They were $678, and people were selling them for $3,000.
Yeah.
So no regrets. Was it a memorable? Any more better memories of that Super Bowl?
No.
Like, you just.
I did my job, came home, ran to eggs after the game, had sex with her, and came back home.
Well, perfect. So there would be no eggs without the credential.
That's true.
So technically, you were thinking
that's right.
a little Terry. Little Terry
That's
didn't give it
right.
up. Little Terry is like, no way.
But
we need some eggs
no,
instead.
No. We still could have had eggs. I could have gotten into the Super Bowl buffet without my credential.
okay.
I needed a ticket to get into that.
All right.
What's more
I'm
important?
just trying to make you feel better, bud.
The buffet or the actual Super Bowl? I'd say the buffet is more important. I'd say getting into the buffet is more important than the actual Super
Oh yeah, that buffet was good, man. They were strong.
I bet.
I'll tell you. And my wife got mad at me. She went to a Super Bowl with me, and we went to the Super Bowl party. And so as soon as we walk in, there's food all over the place. There's stations here. There's seafood over here, Italian over here, burgers and fries over here, just anything. Greek food, Chinese food,
That's
Thai,
awesome.
just whatever you think. So she comes in, rushes to one of the tables, and I was trying to stop her, so she loads up her plate with pasta, and so she's sitting there eating it. Then she finishes it, and she's full. Meanwhile, I went to the pasta table and got a little bit of food. Went to the seafood table, got a little something. Then she really got pissed because I went to the dessert table. She said, "How you getting all this food? What's going on?" I said, "Girl, I was trying to tell you, stop.
Yeah.
Don't. They got food coming out their asses here. So you blew it. You went to the first table, loaded up. Now you can't eat anything else, and you can't have my food."
Looks like you needed to teach Mama, right? That sounds like the old the Papa Bowl, Baby Bowl coming down the mountain to the cow. You got to just walk yourself in there. And I get it, because sometimes these buffets we ain't talking Golden Corral, we ain't talking. This is some real stuff flowing in from everywhere else. They'll have more sushi, buffet, chocolate fondue, all that stuff. You got to be relaxed and breathe, and that would be my advice to the rest of you guys.
Yeah, you gotta pace yourself.
Pace yourself. Don't always go. That's what Terry
Don't be
Foster,
greedy.
So
Don't be greedy.
don't be greedy. Well,
Or listen to your husband because he knows better. He's been there before.
That's fair.
yeah, or that one. Yeah, or that one to everybody out there. So, no, that sounds.
I have a Super Bowl related story. I went to San Francisco with the family, and we went to the trolley car. We were trying to take the trolley car. There's a guy from Green Bay and a guy from San Francisco talking about their Super Bowl appearances. So they were talking about, Jerry Rice and Joe Montana and Brett Favre and all the Super Bowls that they had. And so finally, one of them turned to me and says, "Where you from, buddy?" And I said, "Detroit." Spit came out of their mouths. They were laughing so hard. And the other guy said, "Oh, no wonder you were so quiet. You don't have anything to talk about." I said, "Yeah, I guess not."
Yep.
It is everywhere, worldwide, but not for long. You heard Jamaal Williams
maybe
said
that'll
we're taking
change.
over the North. That's where it starts. Anyways, thanks for joining us today on Big D Energy. We will be back same time tomorrow. Hope you join us for Spenmo, for Sam,
Prop
for
bets.
T. Foss, D. Mac, deuces. See you tomorrow.